Hey all, JTOWN here. Today I want to talk about why defense to me is the best offense. Just a discussion video about why I've chosen to build around defense, defensive style abilities, defensive armors, what I think the best set is for the long term. So it's a little bit different of a video, but let's just dive right in. So defense is a lot more useful now in this new current update, just because things are a lot harder. In-game content, you're going to take a lot more damage. Sometimes just surviving is the first challenge, let alone doing enough damage. So with that in mind, I've chosen to invest all of my T1 resources that I've gained over the last few months. The bonus of the set is physical defense and magical defense plus 60%. That is huge, and to me, far outweighs the benefits of the other two T1 sets. It also reduces the damage my character takes by 20% and gives me resistance. So I love it, especially with the fact that now our character gives 40% of his stats to the phantoms. It extends 40%, used to be 5%. I'm going to be giving them 2.3 million defense to my phantoms, right? And then my character himself has 1.7 million plus another 4 and 4.2. I have nearly 6k or 6 million defense. That's nuts. Now, the reason I've chosen to do that, because not only things are harder and you need to survive, but now there are a lot of things that are based on defense and it works a lot better. For example, my weapon, I've chosen the guard axe. I've been testing out a lot of weapons. I've been running this a lot. 230% of your physical defense 3 times, with a chance to lower their defenses. The basic attack it does is 380% of my defense. We just established my defense was about 6 million. That's ridiculous. Also, if I were to run the Dragonfire axe, also based on physical defense, right? The Cold axe, also based on physical defense. And that's just my character. We go and look at my formation, right? My phantoms here. Clock's skills are now based on his physical defense, right? A1 can punch something pretty good. Even his AoE is based on defense. Puppeteer, she's now based on defense. 190% magic defense, right? So you're going to get a lot more mileage out of those phantoms who have pretty much been staples this entire time, simply because of defense, not to mention the survivability. Now, it goes a bit further, right, as far as defense, not just in a stat, but in a play style. When you go into some of the endgame content, you'll notice the one-turn kill or the nuke them before they nuke you strategy no longer really applies, right? And I'm focusing on endgame because it's the only thing you can't overpower, right? Everything else in the game prior to this, you could achieve a level higher than it. You could kind of rise above and then punch down. Here you're punching up. So with that in mind, my enchantments that I've been using, Magic Barrier, right? They're immune to damage for a single turn. That can come in clutch right before the boss is about to nuke you down. My personal favorite at the moment, Cleansing Rain, right? Removes all debuffs except for auras, right? I will show you why this is my current favorite. And then coming in third place, Curse of the Dead, right? It decreases the boss's healing or the enemy's healing and lowers the damage that they do. It's far secondary to Magic Barrier and Cleansing Rain, and I'll show you. We're going to go into Takmir's Palace, Incubus. Currently the hardest dungeon in the game. All of my time since the update, I have been working on Takmir's Palace Incubus to find the best team for the eventuality of carrying people in here. Once more players reach where they can first start going into Takmir's Palace, they're going to need to squad up because they won't have had the investment in the account to reach some of the stats that a few of us longtime players have had. And it's just going to be a lot easier. With that in mind, I've just been working on the best teams. I've soloed this dozens of times every single day. I've tried various teams, variants of, and here we are. Let's just put on auto. Let's run in. So these guys are nasty. King Margarod now has a chance to freeze the crap out of you. And they're always going to go first because the speed requirement to go first is 175, I believe. My clock is 171 and just cannot quite go fast enough. So if you notice there, they put all their nasty debuffs on me. The freezes and the stuns, or the paralyzes from Zeus. My cleansing rain went off, cleared it all. I still kept my action bar, and then I got to go into my rotation, right? So even though we're not having clock going first, pushing their attack bar down before they can go, we're basically shrugging off all the bullcrap they just threw at us, right? We just said, not today. I'm not taking your damage. So they're going first. They're throwing all this nastiness at me. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm getting frozen, getting paralyzed. It's gross. Clock goes in there. And see how he didn't knock any attack bar down because they're already gone, right? Cleansing Rain goes off, removes all that crap, and then I'm free to do what I need to do. So even though it's taken more turns than we're used to from previous iterations of the game, we're just shrugging off their damage, which frees me up, where the only challenge is, can I do enough damage before the turns come up, especially on the bosses? Because now, when you get to these new benchmarks in the turn count, it's a lot harder. As soon as you get to the purple at 80 turns, they basically turn off all your healing. That's the passive healing from Zoe, healing from the character weapons like the Ruby Staff, healing from your enchantments. So the real goal is to kill them before you get to turn 80. Now, the reason I've gone with the Guard Axe, because it's based on defense, also because it can lower their defense. And the only character in my party currently who can do that is Puppeteer. And hers is on her AoE that comes back around every so many turns. I want to make sure that the defensive down stays on them more than as much as humanly possible, right? Zoe is the best Phantom in the game, hands down. If you have pulled her, she will go in every team you will ever make, except for the water tower, obviously, or other things. It's not fire. Just because she brings so much to the table, I'll have a whole highlight video on her alone. But you see here, just because we're able to shrug off all those things, we can just focus on now getting our damage in. We don't have to worry about crazy mechanics to try to survive. We have that built in, right? Look at that. No. They're just barely scratching me. And so now Clock, since the speed is going to be harder to obtain to go first, you're getting a lot more utility out of Clock because now he hits even harder because of that defense, right? So I've made all my Phantoms more survivable, right? Those rework skills that now are based on defense do a lot more damage. So Puppeteer and Clock have more value as damage dealers into not just being support. And we knocked him out by turn 44. That's awesome. That's awesome. No chance of being defeated. We have got this on lock. Now this lady, in my opinion, is one of the nastiest in here, even more so than the third and fourth bosses, because she has innate heal blocking abilities too. The CC on her and her team is just nasty, right? A Cleansing Rain, gonna bloop, pop us out, lower the defense. Zoe gets to go with her nasty, nasty healing. It's so sick. So we just shrugged off what was a mega CC nuke from this ungodly team against us. We just shrugged it right off. And now we are cleaning house. And then my magic barrier enchantment went off, which basically her move did jack squat to me. So then I'm not having to worry about having everything perfectly speed tuned. I'm just brute forcing it, but with style. So basically I've made it where the only challenge is now, can I get enough damage by turn 80 to bring her down. Because at turn 80, when that healing stops working, they can pretty much mess you up. Because not only do you have to be able to stay alive, I'm tanking the hits, but I'm also healing thanks to Zoe. So we just, right before her nasty little AoE went, Curse dropped on her, right? Which lowered the damage she does. We're keeping a nice speed down on her. We've got the fire going from Bloody Overlord. That's the reason he's here. He's not here for damage. He's a support, and because he's Evo 8 plus 20. That's another aspect, in addition to playing defensively, is you gotta have Evo 8 plus. I have been working with many Phantoms, even who are defense-based, that are just simply Evo 8 and put into Resonance at 600. And it is harder to keep some of them alive, I'll tell you that. Right now, my lowest Evo in here is Puppeteer. She's only at about plus 9 or 10, and Zoe's about plus 11, I think. So oftentimes you'll see Puppeteer kind of take the most damage. So that also helps. So basically, you make yourself tanky, but in such a way that you're still dishing it out. And this is also a nasty setup. They come right at you with this horrible sleeps and paralyzes, right? One on top of the other. So our defense innate stats made us shrug the hit off. Cleansing Rain got the debuff statuses off. And now it is open game on some bitches. Zoe comes in with the clutch stun. Dracula thinks he's going to do something. Nope. Puppeteer just shrugged that crap off. Magic barrier popped. Nope. And that hits hard because I've got the burning stat up on those mobs plus the defense down. Bloody Overlord can do decent damage, but he now is a support. And his biggest character he supports is Zoe. If I'm ever running a team that Zoe's not in, Bloody Overlord probably is not going to be in that team. Now I've got one other trick on this weapon that allows me to get rid of status defects. And I'll show you that in a minute. That's why this is now my new favorite weapon. And even though I've pretty much got TPI on farm, I'm going to be working on perfecting it, as well as improving it with a few Phantoms that I really want to work. I want King Arthur to work. He's my favorite Phantom in the game. I think he needs a bit of improvement, but I'm going to max him out anyway. It's going to take a while. I just need to see what his skill ceiling is. And another Phantom that I really like and I wish she would be good, and I'm trying to make her so, is Victoria. She's got some nasty multipliers in her kit, but it takes so many copies and she's so rare that I wouldn't try Tagmir's Palace Incubus if you didn't have Evo 8 plus 5 minimum. Now, defense is not going to do a damn thing for you in arena. And I'll have a whole video on that coming in the nearest soon days. But basically, the scaling of the game lets you shrug off the hits from the bosses, but you can't shrug off the hits from maxed out Phantoms from other characters. Because this boss has trillions of health. Because every hit I'm doing tens of millions of damage, right? If they hit equivalent to the stats they had in HP, there would be no defense in the game that could save you, right? The only reason we're able to beat these bosses is because via our runes and skill ups, we have Phantoms that can hit in the tens, if not hundreds of millions damage per attack. There is no defense or HP amount you can get on your characters that allow you to take that much, right? So when you're in arena, somebody else stuns you and hits you for 40 million damage. There's nothing you can do about that. But in the end game dungeons, you don't have to go first. You don't have to try to finagle it to where like, okay, my clock went first and locked him out. Now what can I get done? What kind of statuses can I put on them? What kind of things can I do so they don't hit me by their next turn? Go defensive Shrug it off, right? I welcome the challenge. Hit me with your best shot, ugly biatch. So I have absolutely no risk of possibly losing this fight. And I think it's hilarious. Look at that. We've got defensive down. We got speed down. He's burning. We got her attack damage down. Look at that. That right there should have been a big, nasty. Nope. Nope. Like I said, this is just going to be a discussion video. We're going to finish this run out here. Still need to show you that perk on this weapon that I absolutely love. Look at that. We're shrugging off multiple Draculas and King Margarods, right? Just, it don't even matter, bro. I got defense for days. And while this weapon may not look like it does much AoE style, that's not why I have it, right? I don't have it for ads. My phantoms can take the ads themselves. They don't need me. But it's when they get to the bosses that your character can do some real work if you use it properly. Alright, so let's get down here. The more we can stop, and we'll take a look at the weapon. Alright, so down here, block level 8. At the start of each turn, there is a 75% chance to randomly remove a debuff from all allies. So this, plus my cleansing rain enchantment, yeah, gonna need to make something harder to keep me locked down, which I'm actually looking forward to. Hoping one day we get Incubus Plus. I could really test my skills even further. Bye-bye status effects. Got the damage up on all our characters from Bloody Overlord. We shrugged off that nasty hit. They've all got defense down. If we can get rid of these 2 ads. They're basically mini versions of the second boss. So now we know we're not going to die. Just the only challenge is, do we beat it before turn 80? Got that burning on him, which is great, because that's part of the source of Zoe's insane damage, is detonating fire. That burning debuff. Now this is the only part that makes that boss annoying, is that he can just shrug off a lot of damage as well with that ability. Why I've gone for the guard axe with its defense down, so I can have more times of defense down than just when Pup's AoE comes around. All right. About 30 more turns. Just us and the big man now. Love it. Now this is going to be great, especially because the speed requirement, like I said earlier, to go first before the mobs in this dungeon is ridiculously high, right? I have plus 171 speed on my clock, and that's not enough. And that's one of the top 5 clock speeds in the game, right? So instead of farming for runes just to try to go first in a one-dimensional style, go defensive, baby. Go defensive all the way. I'm not turning back. I think this is the best of the T1 sets by far. Furthermore, because everyone goes to True Sight, which is the set we ran before in the old meta, because of the accuracy. But the prevalence of +10 accuracy rolls on gear, especially since all allies' speed is now gone, you can make up that accuracy by leveling up your bracers to max and also getting those accuracy rolls on your gear. So, in my opinion, this is the best set. Alright, so we've gone past turn 80. Can we still pull it out? Our healing's going to be nerfed, but we can still have good defense. And we can still throw down the damage. Oh, homie's going down. Boom, good night. Good night. There we are. I've had faster runs than that. I've had slower runs than that. But that is about as bad as it gets right there. I just push auto and we win. Defense, baby. Defense. All right, y'all. I'm JTOWN. I will see you in game.